Welcome to Chapter 1, a series about players whose careers are still being written, but the warning signs have already started. In Episode 1, we looked at DJ Wagner, a player expected to be in the league by now, still searching for solid ground. Episode 2 brings us to Jared McCain, and his story starts very differently. Jared actually got a head start. Through his first 23 games, he was leading the Rookie of the Year race, playing with confidence, freedom, and momentum. Then the meniscus tear hit. Since that moment, the league didn't wait. Rotation shifted, roles were filled, and the situation in Philly changed fast. Now he's fighting his body, his confidence, and a shrinking opportunity, trying to reclaim a role that may no longer be there. At this point, his career can go either way. He can turn it around and put himself back on path, or succumb to the early signs of a rocky first chapter. Either way, in today's video, we'll break down the three main reasons he's even in this position, and at the end of each, how he can stop them from becoming permanent stunts to his overall growth. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Jared McCain is a point guard shooting guard from California whose rise was built on skill, confidence, and feel rather than raw athleticism. He gained national attention at Centennial High School, where his shooting touch, footwork, and composure separated him early. McCain wasn't just a scorer, he played with rhythm, understood spacing, and looked comfortable making decisions at game speed. That polish followed him into college, where he quickly became one of the most reliable freshmen in the country. At Duke, McCain thrived both on and off the ball. He scored efficiently, knocked down tough shots, and showed an advanced understanding of how to fit alongside other talented players. His ability to impact games without needing constant touches made him stand out on a roster full of NBA-level prospects. While he wasn't viewed as an explosive athlete or a true point guard, his shooting, IQ, and confidence gave him a clear NBA role. That lone season solidified him as a first-round prospect. Philadelphia selected McCain 16th overall, believing he could contribute sooner than most rookies, especially as a complementary guard who could space the floor, make quick reads, and survive defensively within a team concept. Early on, that belief looked justified. McCain adjusted quickly to the NBA pace, played without hesitation, and looked comfortable operating within structure. Entering his rookie season, he wasn't viewed as a long-term prospect or a stash piece. He was seen as someone ready to help immediately, with room to grow if everything broke right. And for 23 games, things were, until stunt number 1, the injury that froze his momentum. Jared McCain's meniscus injury didn't just take him off the floor, it interrupted his momentum at the worst possible time. Through his first 23 games, he wasn't just surviving as a rookie, he was well on pace to become the clear Rookie of the Year. He was confident, trusted, and productive. His minutes were steady, his role was clear, and the game looked slower for him than it does most first-year players. Early success like that matters because it builds trust from coaches, teammates, and the organization. And for a moment, McCain had all three. Then everything stopped. Meniscus injuries are tricky, especially for guards who rely on movement, balance, and rhythm. Even when the knee is medically cleared, it doesn't mean the player feels like himself. When McCain returned, the environment had changed. Rotations had tightened, other players had stepped into his minutes, and the team had adjusted without him. Instead of being allowed to play freely, he was now operating on a shorter leash, where mistakes carried more weight than they did before. He looked more cautious, not reckless, not scared, but aware. His attacks weren't as decisive, his shooting confidence wasn't as automatic, and his natural rhythm was harder to find. For a player whose game is built on feel and flow, that hesitation matters. Add in load management, DNPs, inconsistent usage, demotion stints to the G League, and it becomes even harder to build momentum. It's difficult to regain confidence when you don't know if you will play or how long you will stay in once you do. But this doesn't have to become a permanent stunt. The key for McCain is health first, rhythm second. That means fully trusting his knee again, not rushing impact plays, but rebuilding confidence through consistency. It also means embracing smaller roles when necessary. Defending, spacing the floor, making quick reads, and impacting games without forcing shots. If he can reestablish trust in his body and show reliability in limited opportunities, the freedom will eventually return. The injury slowed him down, but it doesn't have to define him. Stunt number 2, the roster shift that changed the math. The second major possible growth stunt in Chapter 1 of Jared McCain's career has less to do with his play and more to do with timing. While he was sidelined, the Sixers roster didn't pause. It reloaded and adjusted. Minutes were redistributed, rotations tightened, and other guards stepped into roles that were once his. When McCain returned, he wasn't just fighting his way back from injury, he was fighting a new hierarchy. At the center of that reality is Tyrese Maxey. Maxey is the franchise guard, the all-star, the primary ball handler, and the long-term foundation. That automatically limits McCain's ceiling as a point guard in Philadelphia. His best-case scenario has always been as a shooting guard who can play off a dominant creator, spacing the floor, attacking closeouts, and keeping the offense flowing. But that lane has started to crowd quickly. Philadelphia's investment in VJ Edgecombe changes the math even more. VJ profiles as the type of athletic two-way guard teams build around next to a player like Maxey. Bigger, faster, more physically imposing, and viewed as part of the future. That doesn't mean McCain is unwanted, but it does mean his margin for error has shrunk. Not to mention Quentin Grimes receiving a lot of McCain's minutes as well during his injury. When teams start projecting forward, opportunity becomes about fit as much as talent. For McCain, this does create a squeeze. He's not the primary ball handler, he's not a defensive stopper, and coming off a lower extremity injury, he's not playing with the same freedom he had early on. That combination makes it easy for minutes to disappear, especially on a team trying to balance development with winning. The way forward is specialization. McCain has to fully lean into what keeps him valuable anywhere: shooting consistency, quick decision making, off-ball movement, and defensive reliability within a system. He doesn't need to outshine Maxey or replace VJ, he needs to make himself undeniable in the gaps they leave behind for now. If he can sharpen that role and prove he can fit cleanly next to elite talent, whether in Philly or elsewhere, this roster squeeze can become a detour and not a dead end. Stunt number 3, confidence, narrative, and the speed of the league. The third stunt isn't physical or positional, it's psychological, and in today's NBA, it might be the fastest moving one of all. Jared McCain entered the league with confidence, momentum, and public belief on his side. Not to mention limited pressure falling outside the lottery. Early production, visible swagger, endorsements, and a strong social media presence all reinforced the idea that he belonged. When things were going right, the narrative moved with him. When the injury hit, that narrative flipped faster than most people realize. When the injury hit, that narrative flipped faster than most people realize. The NBA doesn't wait for context. Once a player is sidelined, rotations change, roles stabilize, and perception fills the gaps left behind. For McCain, the conversation shifted from how good can he be to where does he fit now. That change matters because opportunity often follows belief. When belief wavers, so does patience. Coming back from injury already puts pressure on a player. Add in reduced minutes, G League stints, cautious usage, and the constant uncertainty of whether tonight is your night, and confidence becomes harder to sustain. Every shot starts to feel heavier, every mistake feels louder, and instead of playing instinctively, players start playing carefully. For someone whose game relies on rhythm, feel, and flow, that mental shift can be just as limiting as a physical one. The league also moves quickly to label players: injured, crowded rotation, developmental. Those tags can stick if a player lets them, and once that happens, it's easy to fall into survival mode, trying not to mess up instead of trying to make an impact. That's where growth can stall quietly without anyone officially giving up on you. Where McCain can reclaim ground is in his mindset and pace. Confidence doesn't come back through highlights, it comes back through repetition. Accepting uneven nights, leaning into the work, and staying aggressive within his role matters more than forcing moments. The league may move fast, but careers don't end in one chapter. The story around him has shifted, but it isn't finished, and how he responds now decides what Chapter 2 looks like. All in all, Jared McCain's story seems more about timing than talent. We saw how quickly things clicked early, the confidence, the rhythm, the trust, and then the injury hit. Time passed and the circumstances around him changed while he was off the floor. Now he's trying to reestablish himself in a league that doesn't wait for anyone to feel comfortable. Now he's in that in-between space where minutes aren't guaranteed, roles aren't clear, and every opportunity carries weight. That can disrupt anyone's rhythm, especially a player that depends on feel and flow. Chapter 1 doesn't decide everything, it just shows how fast things can change. And how McCain responds now is what gives him the chance to write a very different Chapter 2. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth is being stunted. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.